Good morning, everyone. My name is Father John Grimes. I am the new kid on the block here, a senior priest in residence at St. Timothy's. Some of you already know me, but Bonnie, our music director, asked me if I would introduce myself and share with you some reflections on Advent. Today actually is the first Sunday of Advent, the beginning of this holy season. And it is a season of waiting. And how do we understand waiting? Most of us as Americans, we just don't like to wait. As Americans, we're very busy people. We want things on time. Even if the doctor calls and postpones the appointment, we say, oh, gee, I already made arrangements. Too bad it has to change. But we like things to follow in their place in time. So for us to look upon waiting, how do we look at that when we really don't like to wait? Perhaps if we think of an analogy, an analogous situation, it might give us some insight into the spiritual meaning of waiting during the Advent time. For me, the analogous situation for us Americans and for people all over the world is the waiting for the vaccine. The vaccine during this terrible period of the pandemic, the vaccine that will come and be distributed to ourselves and to people all over the world. And it gives us a sense of hope that we're waiting with hope, not only for the vaccine itself, but for us to be vaccinated. And why? What is the hope? What's the hope that we have? What is it that we're waiting for? Basically, three things, I think. The first is that it will be a cure, that it will be effective, that it will heal all those who take the vaccine. That will be a cure so that we don't get the virus. And secondly, that it will be so potent that we will destroy all of the bacteria and all the other things that are involved in spreading the virus. Just like the polio vaccine and the measles vaccine have wiped those diseases out of the face of the earth for people who take the vaccination. And in addition to the cure and the destruction of the disease itself, we hope that we'll have life, that we'll be able to be saved from the disease, and that we will return back to a life of more normalcy. Right now, we can't gather together in more than 10 people. We have to sit with great distances. We can't shake hands. Not supposed to gather with even family members if we don't live in the same household. It's so unsettling. And so we hope also that it will save our lives and save our style of living. Well, if we take these three things, at least for me, these three things are a healing, a destruction of the effects of the disease, and of a renewed sense of life, and we apply them on a spiritual level during this Advent season, we too are waiting. We're waiting, hopefully. We're waiting for the celebration of the coming of the Messiah. Yes, at Christmas time when we celebrate his birth, but also for his coming at the end of time, at the end of our own lives, that we will be with him in heaven. And just think of these three things. As we listen to the readings during the month of Advent, they're all the longing, the waiting of the people of the Bible for the Messiah to come, for the Son of God to come, for Jesus, the Messiah, to come. Why? for those same three things, but on a spiritual level. One, for him to bring healing. Healing of the woundedness that we have, a woundedness sometimes within ourselves, but in our relationships with one another, within our world. We have only to think of the disunity that we see in our own nation at the present time, just politically. People sometimes afraid to talk to one another about their different points of views, lest it results in a fight or a breakdown. All the different ways that we have prevented ourselves because of sometimes of selfishness from being able to reach out to others. So there's a wound that we ask Jesus to come. We only have to look at the Ten Commandments, and sometimes we've violated a few of those. And to heal the woundedness within ourselves. And secondly, to celebrate the Messiah's divine power to overcome sin, death, disharmony, and to destroy those. In the Bible, we refer to it as the destruction of the devil, his evil powers. In Jesus' resurrection, we celebrate his victory over those. And then lastly, we long for the coming of the Lord, for the hope that we have that life on this earth, as good as it is not the end of the story. That we will have life with him, that we will enter into his divine life, which we do in the sacraments. And then when our time comes to die, that we will live with him, we will be saved into a life that is eternal. And that while we are on earth, with the coming of this Messiah showing us how to live and how to love, we might rebuild the community of humankind. The community in our own nation that is, again, filled with disunity, whether it's political issues or whether it's social injustice, whatever, that we might be reunited with the sense that we are really disposed to work with God to build up the community of life here on earth, and that we as Americans can truly claim to be one nation under God, united under God, in mutual respect for the dignity of each one of us. Well, those are my few thoughts for the Advent season. Again, it's a reflection on the spirituality of waiting, and during this period of the next few weeks, we want to dispose our hearts and open ourselves to let God's grace work within us so that we can really celebrate the Christmas birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. Happy Advent to all of you.